very important question, and I'm not sure. But let me dig a bit and try to get an answer out of this. Now, if we look at where we are today, we have fundamental challenges, and they are all coming simultaneously. And then, if we think broadly, we might believe that we need a collective action. But what is this collective action? At a global level, at a regional level, at a local level? These are, for example, of course, the climate change, how to curb the climate change consequences, how can we stop, these consequences, and first of all recognize them, because some countries and some institutions are not recognizing them. So how to reduce the incidence, for example, of pandemics? I mean, we thought our war against pandemics and against epidemics and all of this is over, but it's not. How technology can benefit our societies and not, on the contrary, make us lose all our jobs and so on. How to find jobs to the coming youth and better integrate women in the labor market. These are all very important societal challenges that we need to think of. Now, our societal challenges and constraints are becoming harder and harder to deal with the level of information we have, the knowledge we have acquired, and also let's not forget the power games between the nations and large corporations that had accumulated excessive wealth over the years and do not see the benefit to change or adapt. And sometimes even they go into what I call a denial philosophy to stay where they are because they are comfortable in where they are. That's the comfort zone. And it's very difficult to take institutions, people, and so on from their comfort zone, which is understandable. This is probably one reason why behind the failure to reach global agreements, like the Paris Agreement, for example, on climate change. And also maybe that's why we are failing in certain way to have free vaccines for all. I mean, and without really having this tension between the countries on who is going to do the best vaccine and use it as an influence or diplomacy type of tool for other countries who do not have access to the vaccine. Anyway, so since the Industrial Revolution, that's many years ago, economic development and prosperity resulted from progress in technology and natural resources. So, okay, we said, very good, let's grow, but then growing at the expense of the planet. Okay, we did it for many years. And then countries producing coal, oil, and gas, they have very much benefited. And for example, I can take, for example, the Gulf countries and other countries. So some countries bought those resources as input to their technologies while polluting and risking the stability of the planet. And then, of course, risking the stability of the planet because of what? Because of the depletion of natural resources and excessive carbon dioxide emissions leading to global warming. This story we know it all. However, is this era over? And I don't know. Is there are there the premises for this era to be over? I don't know. Is there a global action for this era to over? I don't know. Now, nowadays, we are seeing new technologies which are based on clean energy, like hydrogen technologies, for example, leading to probably cutting those emissions and curbing the consequence of climate change by 2050. Yes, there are pockets of hope. Now, let me go to economics now. Changing economic models, which were based on burning fossil fuels for years, is not a very easy decision to make, especially for policymakers who are, they need to get some, votes and, to learn and so on. In particularly for countries which are in the middle of their development path, and that development path is anchored into this type of models. So that's why it's very difficult. There's a tension there. Economic studies try to quantify the cost of action or inaction and so on. I mean, in terms of based on data, scenarios, economic models, predictions, and so on. Now, I'm not going to go into all of this. I mean, these are all based on certain assumptions, certain scenarios, and so on. But they could do if they are really presenting the evidence in a very, I would say, forceful manner. And it can provide an answer, for example. I mean, these models can provide an answer, uh, obviously supported by the right evidence and the right assessments, and to be addressed and so on. Now, if we think that we would like to cut the emission, the CO2 emission using, for example, an incentive system that is specific, like tax or so on, or for example, this market that has been developed and so on, but it has to be enforced. It has to be enforced, and it has to be applied by many actors, by all the economic agents. And I believe nowadays we need to go a bit further into our thinking to rethink the valuation completely of, for example, the nature-based solutions. I mean, there has been a lot of interesting research coming from different fields and different disciplines, and economics has been also quite part of it, is to value the nature-based solutions on how their capacity to sequester carbon dioxide. And these are all new and innovative mechanisms that could be further explored and then used as part of the economic models that we are having nowadays.